The determination and bravery of a group of women who came together to bring a serial Tinder predator to justice is the focus of a new documentary.
Well, earlier this year, we spoke to the journalist Katrina Stewart, who helped highlight the women's stories and bring Christopher Harkins to justice. And in a moment, we will be speaking to two of his victims. Shannon McKechnie, who was scammed out of more than £3,000, and Jak Reid, who was in a relationship with Harkins for 6 months. Jak, you met this rather unpleasant individual back in 2015, so 10 years ago.
Long time ago.
And you had a relationship with him for 6 months, but there was a red flag, wasn't there, which led you to break up with him, but clearly was something that he then went on to do with multiple other women, which was he asked you for money.
Yep.
Tell us what happened.
So it was probably about 6 months into the relationship. I was at work and he texted me and asked if I would transfer money into a bank account that wasn't his. And obviously straight away that is a huge red flag. I asked why. He said he was lending it to a friend to take a girl away for a weekend and his bank account was frozen, so he couldn't transfer the money. And he said, but it's OK, I'll give you it back later in cash. And I thought, absolutely not, there's something not right there.
This wasn't an online relationship?
No, I was in a relationship with him. I met him online, but I was in a 6-month relationship with him.
Do you think he was always planning this as a scam?
Looking back now, I think that's what he did. I think it was all manipulation, and for him, that was a job.
Gosh.
And 4 years later, Shannon, you met him on Tinder. And in fact, he went further, didn't he? Tell us what happened to you and how much you lost.
Yes, a similar sort of story. Like, I'd met him online, we started dating. There was a particular evening where he asked me what I missed about being in a relationship, which led to a conversation about holiday. And we then decided to book a holiday after a lot of sort of prompting from him.
That's an interesting question, because you can sort of, in a romantic setting, what do you miss about being in a couple? Oh, I miss going on holiday. Now you know.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a manipulation?
100%. So it was literally the next day that conversation came up. It was fully orchestrated on his behalf. And I then transferred the money. But literally from the moment it was transferred, something changed.
It was more than £3,000, wasn't it?
Gosh.
And
what happened to that money? Because with the help of Katrina, you actually managed to track him down, didn't you?
Yeah, so I ended up, tried everything, you know, I'd gone to the police and everything, and at some point I decided, you know, I'll just never get this back. But he was the one who came back to me after a period of time and instigated me getting it back, which was when I realised that I was being humiliated on purpose. Went to Katrina and she was able to go to the address that I'd given her, and that was when he started to panic. I think he knew that the house of cards was about to tumble.
As you said, Jak, it was like, you know, it was his job almost. Do you know, do we know, did he do one victim at a time, or was he actually running a number of different people simultaneously?
Just from speaking to some of the other victims, there's one girl that I know of who was in a relationship at the same time I was in a relationship with him, which makes my skin crawl a little bit.
Of course it does.
How many more were there at the same time?
And you're looking back always, I'm sure, and thinking, and this is so useful for people watching this and learning from you, in retrospect, when you look back, what are the things which you didn't spot at the time, which you now know were the blaring warning signs you wished you'd spotted?
I suppose that's the difficult thing, because if they were that obvious, we would have spotted them. Yeah. We're very intelligent women. Yeah. And I think the key thing is this could happen to anyone. And when somebody treats this like their job, and that's what they do for a living, they become very, very good at it. So it was very difficult to spot those signs, but I think the key message for people to take away is just not to stop asking questions. Right. And the minute that something turns from what has appeared to be a loving, genuine, warm relationship and flips very quickly to aggression, threatening behaviour, gaslighting, all these sort of words, I think you have to take those really seriously.
It's really hard, though, isn't it? Because, I mean, as you said, if he's really skilled and therefore, you know, both of you clearly really savvy, you weren't spotting anything, but you don't want in your life to spend your whole time thinking, this person seems a really nice guy, I'm getting on really with him really well, but maybe he's actually manipulating me and it's a scam. Because, I mean, if we all lived like that, it would be so miserable. So it's really hard to know what lesson to learn from that.
And I think that's the really important part. You know, you still want to go through your life and believe in love and believe in genuine relationships and still put your trust in people. But I think if you have concerns, you have to speak up. Because I think the more people that you speak to, the more chance you have of being listened to.
Jak, how has this affected, or how did it affect in the years afterwards, this is 10 years ago, your trust in dating, meeting people online?
I think more so now, because obviously at the time I just put it down to a failed relationship, wasn't the right person and moved on. But now, knowing what I know now and knowing the crimes that he's committed, I'm very wary. And I have dated through the same means since then, and it didn't go too well. So for me, I just think there's too many predators using online dating, and they're almost using it as a hunting ground. So I wouldn't use any online dating.
How did you find out it was a scam? What was the moment when you suddenly realised that this relationship was actually a manipulation?
Do you know, I didn't know at the time. It wasn't until I was tagged on the very first news article that Katrina published, and my friend had actually tagged me and said, "Is that not your ex-boyfriend?" And my jaw hit the floor.
I bet. That's an amazing moment.
It was a light bulb moment.
Totally
I thought,
shocking.
Now it all makes sense. And obviously, the more I read up on it and the more information that I was privy to, I thought, that's his job.
I've got to say, you could have run away from it and thought, I don't want to have anything to do with this. The fact that you've had the strength to share your story and let other people learn from it, I mean, it's really, really impressive, but I should think really hard.
I think it's the right thing to do. If I was sitting at home and not saying anything and not using my voice to raise awareness, it just wouldn't sit right with me. Like, I'm just a normal girl, I work hard and I'm just looking for love.
I mean, I have so much sympathy. It must be devastating to know what this man was eventually capable of. Found guilty, I mean, entirely separately to your cases, but the offences he was found guilty of, rape, assault, recording an intimate video without consent, threatening and abusive behaviour, and 4 other sexual offences, you must just think...
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's hard.
Awful. I'm so sorry about the experiences that you had, the fraud that you experienced. In a previous statement, Police Scotland told us Christopher Harkins is a violent and contemptible individual who preyed on women looking for love and companionship. We're working hard to continually improve our response to domestic abuse, working with partners to meet the needs of victims. Police Scotland have never received any complaints in relation to our investigation into Christopher Harkins. There was a point you went to police, wasn't there, Shannon?
Yeah, and I later found out that there were 9 other occasions when women had previously reported Christopher Harkins, and all of those were completely, like, none of them were investigated.
And it wasn't until Katrina Stewart took it up that it was. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, Catching the Tinder Predator is available to watch now on Prime Video, and if you're affected by those issues, you can find advice and support itv.com/helplines.
Thank you so much for
Thank
talking
you
about
both.
that.
Good luck.
Really, really important
Thank
you've
you.
done that.